Good evening and welcome to Midnight. This is Reverend Anna with a combination of Starry Sunday and Magic Monday. So, tonight I thought we would discuss a little bit about what astrological aspects are happening right now, what is happening in the stars, and some appropriate magical things that you can do in the next couple of months. Okay? Okay, without further ado, let's go. As you can see right here, I have Uranus and Taurus. So, last week, Uranus went into Taurus, and because Uranus is a large planet, it stays in a sign for a while. Now, it has been going retrograde, which means it's been going backwards. It's appearing to go backwards in the skies for the latter part of 2025. Finally, last week, I think it was on the 4th, it started going direct. Some of you started feeling its direct movement about a month prior to that. So, like at the beginning of the year, you guys were feeling kind of like, oh, what am I going to do with these resources, and all of this stuff. Now, when Uranus goes direct, it is a big deal. Like I said, it normally stays in a sign for a while. But because Uranus is a large planet, it's called a generational planet because of that. We tend to feel its effects very intensely and for a longer period of time. So we will be feeling this like going direct in Taurus for a couple of months, I want to say. Okay, so some of you have already been feeling it, some of you have not. So, for those of you who were not here last week, welcome. My name is Reverend Anna from Anna Transylvania's Tarot Room. And let's talk about Uranus direct for a second. Okay? Uranus in Taurus. So, Uranus in Taurus will affect, in order of intensity, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, and Scorpio. Of course, everybody else will be affected. However, those are the signs that are most intensely affected. Okay? So, Uranus in Taurus brings in a phase of sudden disruptive change in finances, agriculture, resources, and material stability. So a lot of things are going to be happening in the world at large about financial systems. I don't want to sow fear and fear monger and everything like that, but Uranus is a disruptor, okay? And Uranus is basically like a little bit of a tower kind of energy. So Uranus tends to eliminate things that don't work anymore. Okay. But on the flip side, Uranus also can bring enlightenment. It brings genius ideas, technology for the masses, things like this. Okay. So it's not, Uranus disrupts, but it disrupts with the goal of bringing in something better. Okay. So when it goes into Taurus, Taurus is our resources, okay? What we have, time, money, energy, any physical resource we may hold, such as a home, a land, an inheritance, money, and all of that, okay? So anything physical that we can hold is ruled by Taurus. Anything that is we consider a resource is kind of also ruled by Taurus. Okay? So anything that could be quantified and put down on paper is ruled by Taurus. Now Taurus also rules, how do I put it? Taurus also rules a little bit of our sort of physical nature. So like parts of our body are ruled by Taurus. Okay? So the head is ruled by Aries, according to some astrologers. The head is ruled by Aries, the neck is ruled by Taurus. So please, guys, take care. Put a shawl around your neck. Please take care that you're not, around sick people. Take medicine if you feel like you're getting sick, things like this, okay? Now, disclaimer, I am not a doctor, okay? I am a tarot reader, spiritual coach. Okay, so when Uranus goes into Taurus, we'll see disruptions in the things that do not work anymore. In the area of home, resources, partnerships that stand the test of time, our schedules, our workplaces, our things like this, okay? So, a really good thing to do when Taurus moves direct into a sign is to review the things that that sign is about. So in this case, I would say it would be good to review your financial plans, your plans for the future. Make sure that you have enough resources or you can get enough resources to support the dreams that you have, okay? Also on the review right now should be like relationships that are no longer viable, okay? So for example, like you have a friend that you've had for years, but you guys haven't talked for a while, and they don't call you, you don't call them, so it's time to take that number out of your Rolodex. That would be like an example of that, okay? So Uranus and Taurus can mean also cutting out habits that no longer serve you on a physical level. Okay, it's very good for that. So some magic that you can do in the next week or so, including at the new moon, okay? Including at the new moon, because the new moon is going to be in, I think it's in Aquarius. Don't quote me, okay? But this new moon is also going to be an eclipse. So it's going to be very good for really doing a cord cut on some bad habits you might have, okay? Great for cord cutting. The next couple of weeks, great for cord cutting. Yes, I understand Valentine's Day is coming up. We'll discuss some more of that, okay? Now, another thing that Uranus is really good at is enlightening us, especially in Taurus, enlightening us to our like relational patterns, okay? Relationship patterns. How do we relate to one another? So it's an excellent time to sit down with your significant other if you have one, or sit down with yourself if you don't have a significant other, and allow yourself um, to really see where you want change to go. Like if you have energy right now, because Uranus can be a surge of energy in an area, and it's a surge of very strong energy and chaotic energy, right? But it's energy nonetheless. So if you guys have the energy right now, sit down and allow yourselves to really plan out what you want your relationship to look like in the next couple of years, in the next like 4 or 5 years. Just very good for long-term planning, very good for like, hey, we don't want this anymore, but we want this. Now, for those of you that are single, Taurus is ruled by Venus. So when Uranus and Venus come together, it can be like kind of an explosive thing to where like it's chaotic, but it's excellent. It's excellent for having fun, for like taking a trip like to Vegas, for example. That'd be a perfect place for Uranus going direct in Taurus, okay? Maybe with a budget, okay? Uh, so one of the things that singles can do at this particular point in time is delve into the qualities that you would like a partner to have, okay? Delve into the qualities that you would like a partner to have. Really prepare your home if you want to not be single, okay? If you want to not be single, this is a really good like ritual to do. It's delving into what kind of partner you would like to have, and then really getting down to business about cleansing your house of your old partner stuff and stuff like that, and just tossing it out. Okay, very good for detaching, very good from detaching for like long-standing pattern and these things. So say you're a single person, you don't want to be with anybody, but you want to love yourself more, perfect for that. Saying, I've had these habits, I release these habits, very good for releasing. So in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have some things that are very good for releasing. Also this week, we have some aspects to Chiron. We had some aspects last week that were kind of okay. We have some aspects to Chiron this week as well. And that means that like the point of woundedness is coming out, so we can plan with it. Okay, so that was Uranus and Taurus. Let's move on. Now, perhaps the most important, okay, the most important aspect this week and in the next couple of weeks as well is the Saturn entering Aries. That's happening at the end of this week. But I'm covering it because it actually takes precedence, because Saturn is, again, one of those bigger planets. It stays in it goes around 30 years. So it stays about 2.5 years in a sign, okay? So Saturn entering Aries after being in Pisces is a big deal. It's going to join some other planets in Pisces, we'll see in the last bit of this month, okay? So right now, Saturn entering Aries gives us really the motivation to move out of stagnation, okay? Now, it will also give us a little bit of my way or the highway kind of energy, because Saturn is very set in his ways. So when he moves into Aries, which is the sign of movement and motivation, okay, Aries being the god of war, right? So it gives us the fighting spirit, but sometimes it can be the focus can be somewhat all encompassing. It can be somewhat fiery and not, like we're not going to be looking at other people's point of view. It's just I'm looking at my own point of view. I have to keep going. I'm motivated and nothing can stop me. Not even something good can stop you. Okay, so be a little cautious with the Uranus moving and the Saturn moving. We could be having a week here where even though things are clear where you should move, there's a lot of things that are coming in all at once, because we're moving out of a stagnation with Uranus, and we're moving out of a stagnation, we're moving out of going backwards with Uranus, and we're also moving out of a stagnation with Saturn. And the Aries is spurring us to move, but the Uranus says, make a plan first. Take a look at the reality. So this week is basically, let's stop for a second. It's okay. Stop, breathe. Take a look at the reality that surrounds you. Take a look at the clarity. Write it the heck down. Okay? Write it the heck down. That would be my advice for this. So if you want to start a journal, any kind of magical journal, any kind of magical like spiritual journey, this would be the time. But please write your insights down, because that's going to be important, okay? So another thing that you can do this week, basically as a magical working, is dedicate a brand new journal, okay? All right, so let's go through Saturn in Aries. So Saturn enters Aries on the 14th at midnight, basically. So on Friday the 14th, we can expect at midnight, we can expect to be awake, okay? And it'll affect, in order of intensity, Aries, obviously, Sagittarius, Libra, and Leo, and also Pisces. If you're born at the end of the Pisces season, it'll affect you as well, okay? Capricorns are also going to be affected a little bit, because their ruling planet is Saturn. Aquarius is, again, a tiny little bit. For the Aquariuses out there, please don't make any drastic moves of change this week, okay? Stick to the plan this week. Stick to looking at reality, all right? Okay, so that's what we have. Saturn in Aries indicates a period where authority structures and restrictions are tested against initiative, action, and leadership. Governments, institutions, and societal frameworks face pressures to act decisively. Progress may be slow, disciplined, or cautious due to the responsibility and accountability Saturn represents. This placement often brings challenges in asserting power, the need to rebuild leadership, or confront impulsiveness with structure, highlighting lessons in courage, strategy, and mature self-direction on a collective level and on a personal one, okay? Very good time to make plans for the future. This week, these next couple of weeks, excellent time to make plans for the future while looking at what responsibilities we actually do have and what responsibilities we actually want to let go of, okay? So, a very good, excellent spell to do this week is burning a white candle with the intention of getting clarity about your present circumstances and responsibilities. An excellent idea, okay? Another excellent idea is, after you do the clarification thing, would be to allow yourself to do a cord cutting. And if you guys want me to cover a cord cutting, I'll actually, you know what, I will cover a cord cutting next week in not Magic Monday, but Wacky Wednesday. Not this week, as this week is supposedly the week of love, okay? So it's shaping up to be really the week of clarity. Not that you can't have clarity about love, okay? So that's what we have for Saturn and Aries. Now, I'm going to put this over here, okay? And we're going to go through the week for a second. So we start off the week with today, being Sunday, with Venus square Uranus. So that's why I'm saying it's more of the week of clarity. So Venus, the ruler of Taurus, is squaring Uranus right now. So when Venus squares Uranus, we find ourselves in a sort of a pickle, okay? Venus squaring Uranus tells me that people collectively are kind of like tapped out. They're like, oh my God, you know, like all of these things are happening. All of this change is happening. How can I love myself? How can I do all of this? How can I, you know, let go of my fears? How can I, you know, how can I do what Uranus asks? And love myself and love my fellow man when everything is in a chaos, okay? So we start off the week kind of strong with these strong feelings of dislike for what is happening. So when Uranus, okay, when Uranus moves, Saturn moves, people feel that, and it's like a feeling of disquiet, like of inner disquiet. Also, too, our minds might be frazzled. Our minds and hearts might be just, we might just be feeling, I'm just going to be under the covers today. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going out. I'm not doing anything. You know, it's that mood period, okay? So that's today, okay? So a Venus square normally lasts not too long, okay? Venus moves fast. Uranus won't move fast, but Venus will move out of that in like a couple of days, okay? So a Venus square doesn't last too long. All right. So next we have on the 10th, which is Tuesday, Mercury square Lilith. So we're seeing all of these things that we've experienced, all the Chiron squares and all of these things that we've experienced in the last week. We're seeing all these wounds kind of come to the surface, and then we're feeling all the wounds over here with the square Uranus. Like Uranus doesn't allow for any darkness to exist. So it illuminates how we feel about all of these hardships and lessons that we've experienced, in order for us to just eliminate and just clean it out of our systems, okay? And then Mercury is squaring Lilith, allowing us to basically take a look at the unmentionables, okay? At those wounds that we never want to take a look at. Okay, so we're starting the week off kind of intensely with a little bit of just, no, the planets are forcing us to take a look. The planets are forcing us to verbalize what we haven't verbalized in a while. So I would say, okay, watch your tongue, okay? Watch your tongue in the beginning of the week. All right, collective. Please watch your tongue and introspect and like allow yourself to have some self-care time. We talked about this last week. This week it's also important, okay? So without missing a beat, Venus enters Pisces, which kind of quincunxes the Aries thing, which is also a little bit annoying, but not too much, okay? Venus entering Pisces really allows us to go, okay, what are my subconscious patterns here? But it's also a gentle energy, so we need gentle energy, all right? Venus entering Pisces is absolutely excellent for all of these things, self-care and like resting and everything like that. So I would say on Wednesday, people are gonna be like, yes, I'm resting. I need to do some soul searching and everything like this, and let's just finish the week out calmly, okay? Now also too, I do want to say Venus in Pisces is excellent for having a romantic date. Okay, especially with Uranus going into Taurus, right? Not going into Taurus, but going direct in Taurus. We have lots of romantic energy and really kind of electrical energy. So like some of you should actually expect a little bit, this is a little impromptu reading from this, but some of you should actually expect to have kind of dates out of the blue, okay? Like, oh my God, like we used to be friends a long time ago and I'm in town. What the heck are you doing? You want to go out to dinner with me kind of deal. Okay, so you guys should expect like old friends to resurface, like people who you didn't ever think would call you ever again to resurface, or new people who remind you of different people in your past to surface. And so you should expect some romantic encounters, some surprise romantic encounters, okay? If you want a surprise romantic encounter, if you want sexually charged, I hope I don't get demonetized. Sexually charged romantic encounter, I would say ritual for that is really good right now. Use Venusian colors like pink, gold, honey, roses, pink roses. I would say, no, you know what? I would say I would definitely use blue roses this week. Okay? Because that corresponds to both Mercury and Uranus sometimes, and Jupiter. Okay, so then we're kind of finishing out the week with a bang, okay? In more ways than one, it could be, okay? So on the 12th, we have two things that are happening. Sun sextile Chiron, which is excellent. That means we are integrating into our personality the healing that we want to do, okay? Sun sextile Chiron is that healing after the storm, okay? Healing after the... So if you've had disagreements with people, this is where you apologize on the 12th. If you've had a nice, excellent date and everything like that, this is when you call them back, okay? Or not, or just say, oh, it was nice seeing you, blah, 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 okay? But this is when you actually acknowledge certain things, okay? And then we also have a Mercury conjunction the node, which will, once again, help us assimilate the lessons that we've learned in the last 8, 12, or 2 years, respectively, okay? So on the 12th, expect to kind of wax nostalgic a little bit. I would do definitely gratefulness work is a great one for the 12th. Grateful for what you have, grateful for the date you had, grateful for everything, okay? On the 12th is that day, okay? So, and it's also in Pisces, which is the subconscious. So like if you've been working and doing shadow work and all of this stuff, the 12th is the day where you will acknowledge, and this week and this month is the date where you acknowledge where you've come so far, okay? Like, oh my God, I have come so far in my spiritual journey, in my subconscious journey, in my psychological journey, and I'm so healed from all of these things, okay? So some of you can expect a trigger in the beginning of the week and then sort of being like, oh wow, I didn't react how I used to react 2 years ago. I'm reacting how I'm reacting now. That's great, okay? And then on the 14th, we have Saturn entering Aries. And we've gone through that. All right, let's see what else can we expect. I'm going to do a little bit of on the 15th, Venus is squaring Lilith. Once again, we're ready to verbalize what we think. Verbalize what we think, verbalize those dark spaces that we've dealt with in the beginning of the week. Okay? So it's an excellent week to deal with the unexpected in a brand new way, or deal with things that you've been dealing with for a long, long time in an unexpected new way. So a lot of you should expect unexpected solutions to pop up, unexpected events that are kind of blessings in disguise, okay? Where you will recognize them as such by the end of the week, and you'll be like, yes, it's exactly what I needed, but it's not what I wanted. It's exactly what I needed. Okay? And that said, collective, okay, we've gone through Starry Sunday and Magic Monday together as a collective. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying so long if you stay till the end. Like, share, subscribe. And I will talk to you next time. Love you guys. Bye.